Hello, buddy. All right. So, first off, of course, welcome to the Mikestand. Today, of course, is Wednesday, um, October the 8th, um, 2025. So, let me at least first address the elephant in the room, as it were. So, as I mentioned to you guys, I'd be doing jury duty this week. Um, I'm still in that process. So at least schedule wise here, until that is resolved, I'll probably be doing the mic stand, with the exception, of course, of the Sunday historical comic retrospect. That would still be the same time as 5 p.m. as usual. But till my service, until my jury service is complete, we'll probably be running a little bit later. We'll be pushing that back now. Probably will be for the foreseeable future. The Monday through Friday shows will probably be starting around 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern instead of 5 and 8 respectively, until of course my jury service is done. And then um, once that's finished, then we're back to the regular time of 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern. So that's so. Now that I got that out of the way, we're gonna of course give you all a chance to come in before we get started. Hopefully, everybody has had a good having a good week, as we're now here at Wednesday, October the 8th, 2025. We're hump day, so hopefully everybody's getting over the hump. Just let's see, 2.5 minutes. So we'll give it a few more minutes here, or a few more seconds rather, probably up until about the 3 minute mark. So, anyways, hopefully everybody's having a good evening. And a friendly reminder to everybody, of course, if you guys haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Anyways, actually, let me go off camera here for another quick moment here. I'll be right back, but I will put some music on while I'm gone. I'll be right back here. All right. So, anyway, sorry about that. Anyway, so all right. So tonight, gonna go over one article from Bounding into Comics. As some of you may have heard, there's been some issues going on between credit card processors like Visa and Mastercard, and some of the anime and manga sites, where where some of the payment processors are trying to force censorship on some of these Japanese companies, and heard a lot about how Japanese companies, and now apparently one site has actually developed its own payment processing system. So we're going to be looking at that. Also, get caught up on all the latest in terms of the wrestling wrap up. Look back, of course, to last night's NXT. Also, AEW had a very special edition of Dynamite last night. It's called Title Tuesday. We'll, of course, be looking at that. We'll be looking ahead to, and of course, last night's show on NXT show had, of course, NXT TNA Showdown with some interesting fallout. And then we'll, of course, look ahead to this weekend's two big pay-per-view events. Crown June Perth for WWE and Bound for Glory from TNA. So with that being said, also, of course, we'll wrap things up with this day in each history, too. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and get started then? More time, go through the... All right, let me just go off camera one more time here to kind of... I'm going to go off camera one more time here real quick, and then... All right. Anyways, sorry about that. Anyways, so now that of course, um, now of course that we got through all that, let's go ahead and get started then. Um, let's go ahead and get started then. Alrighty then. Yeah, even my brain's a little funky right now, anyways, because it's just some the even my days are a little bit. All right, so let's get to this then. Alrighty then, so here we go. Japanese anime manga storefront DL site launches own payment services to fight back against credit card censorship. Article by Spencer Crowley, published yesterday. So, see what we got here. Whoa, hello. Anyways, in finally standing up to the current wave of Western Puritanism and its grip on private businesses worldwide, Japanese digital storefront DL site, itself a popular source for various otaku-related media, including manga, video games, doujinshi, has launched their own personal payment processor with the goal of, quote, creating a society where all customers can cherish what they love and enjoy content with peace of mind, unquote. This, I guess, is from the Ladies of the Hero Association. Hit the Beach on Yusuke Murata's cover page to One Punch Man. Okay. Officially launched on October 6th as a joint venture between DL Site Operations and its parent company, Vivion Inc., the new, quote, mini no bank, smaller quotes there, payment system is described in its official press release as machine translated by DeepL as a smartphone-based, quote, direct account instant payment service, unquote, where users can manage everything from payments and transfers to deposits, withdrawals, and savings entirely within the app. Quote, this initiative is part of a broader collaboration between GEO Holdings in, Company Limited, President Headquarters, Nagoya City, Aichi Prefecture, President and Representative Director Yuzo Endo, and Mina no Bank, leading the way. The Vivian Group aims to create synergies across the entire GEO group through integration with its own services, thereby delivering further value. Anyways, I'm going to go off camera here one more time here. Sorry about this, folks. Nose is really acting up tonight. I'll be right back. Anyways, all right. All right. Anyways, getting back to the article here. By the way, I know I forgot to mention this earlier. Thank you, Metal. I don't know if you're still here. Sorry, my brain might be a little bit off, but thank you for popping in, Sharon, and saying hi. Hopefully, you're still can hear me in the background there. Anyways, getting back to the article here. So, quote, through this initiative, we strive to realize a society. Okay. Oh. Actually, no, it's a slightly different thing. Where all customers can cherish their passions and enjoy content with peace of mind, unquote. In detailing the app's full mission statement, DL Site explained, quote, the online payment market is expanding rapidly, with Japan's cashless payment ratio reaching 42.8% in 2024, further growth expected going forward. Quote, alongside the market expansion, user payment needs are diversifying, demanding more convenient and secure payment experiences. Within the services operated by the Vivian Group, demand for easier and more secure payment experiences was also growing. Bunny girls! Cute little bunny girls! Quote, guided by its purpose of, quote, creating a society where users and creators can live happily while enjoying themselves, unquote, Vivian has strongly desired to deliver experiences where all lovers of Japanese 2D content can safely enjoy their passions anytime, anywhere, basically without, in the intrusive hands of governments or people who think they know better than you what you should be watching, or what you like to watch, or what you should be watching. Quote, against this backdrop, the shared vision of Minano Bank's service concept, quote, blending into everyone's daily life, unquote, the GEO Group's philosophy of, quote, providing rich and enjoyable everyday living and Vivian's purpose converged, making this initiative possible. I'm going to need to go off one more time here. I'm sorry, folks. Things are a little screwy today, but anyways, let me just going to go off camera here and for I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry, but folks. Anyways, let's get back to the article here. Let me see if there's and a friendly reminder to everybody, of course, to both my YouTube and my Rumble viewers. If you guys haven't already, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Well, with that being said, let's get back to the article here. So, all right. So, by combining our respective strengths, we will meet customer needs and expand the environment, in quotes by the way here, where people can safely enjoy their passions. Through this initiative, we aim for a future where users and creators alike can enjoy richer experiences. Unquote. Currently available exclusively to Japanese users, individuals who sign up now will be privy on two bonus offers, one being a quote a 90% off coupon up to 1,000 yen in parentheses there, usable on the service to users who link their Vivian account to their Mina no Bank account for the first time in brackets here, and another when you actually use the Mina no Bank app to make a payment, unquote. And the other being a total of 5% Vivian points back on all purchases made through the DL site up through March 31st, 2026. All right, so a massive win for freedom of expression. Fans can only hope that Mina no Bank is able to both survive and thrive in a world where giants like Visa and MasterCard are likely to do all they can to keep their payment processing monopoly firmly as such. All right, so there we go with that. Okay, I gotta one more time. I'm sorry, folks. One more time. Let me go off camera here. This should be a little quicker though. Anyways, I'll be right back. All right. Anyways, I'm back. So now, with that being said, so now we're gonna move on to the wrestling wrap up, as it were, because um, do this. And all right. So of course, last night of course there was WNXT on CW, as well as a special episode of Dynamite Title Tuesday. So we're gonna take a look both at those, and then again take a quick peek and get an updated look at this upcoming weekend's event, Perth, Australia. Yeah. Yeah, actually, we'll just look back at last night's stuff. I do want to try to get this. So last night, were a couple of things. Of course, one being, as we said, of course, a special episode of Dynamite aired titled Tuesday, and also the WNXT show, but it was promoted by both NXT and TNA. Showdown. So on last night's Showdown, NXT TNA Showdown. Now this was the show. This was of course the show. Initially they were going to call it Invasion, but because of the fact it just happened to land on October 7th, there were some people in Israel who had an issue with it because it reminded them of the attack from 2 years ago. But this was a co-promoted event that came from the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, with Booker T and Vic Joseph on commentary on the CW. The opening match of the evening saw in what they called a winners take all match, TNA World Tag Team Champions, the Hardy Boys, defended the TNA titles against NXT Tag Team Champions Dark State of Osiris Griffin and Dion Lennox, and the Hardy Boys came out on top in that. So the Hardy Boys became the new NXT Tag Team Championship, defeating the Dark State duo of Osiris Griffin and Dion Lennox. In a women's Survivor Series style elimination match with Jordan Grace as the special guest referee, Team NXT, led by JC Jane with Jada Parker, Lola Vice, and Sol Ruka, defeated Team TNA of TNA Knockouts champion Kalani Jordan, TNA Knockouts Tag Team champions Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay, and Mara Sade. Of course, the week prior, when they were announcing the teams, Kalani Jordan, who was the captain of the Team TNA, almost inadvertently used Mara Sade's former name of Jakara Jackson. JC Jane and Sol Ruka as the survivors of their team, with JC Jane getting the last elimination on Kalani Jordan. Ethan Page successfully defended the NXT North American title over TNA's Mustafa Ali. And the main event saw in a men's Survivor Series style elimination match between NXT and TNA, with Joe Hendry as the special guest referee. Team TNA, led by Mike Sanchez, with Moose, X Division champion Leon Slater, and international champion TNA international champion Frankie Kazarian, defeating Team NXT, led by NXT champion Ricky Saints, TNA World Champion Trick Williams, Miles Bourne, and Javon Evans, with Santana and Moose being the final survivors of their team, as Santana last eliminated Ricky Saints. So, with that being said and done, now of course, to look back to last night's Title Tuesday from AEW. as coming from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, AEW's original home, but from back in 2020, with Bryan Danielson, Excalibur, Taz, and Don Callis on commentary. Opening match saw Jon Moxley of the Death Riders and Marina Shafir in his corner, defeating New Japan Strong Openweight Champion Tomohiro Ishii in a non-title match by referee's decision. The Hurt Syndicate of Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, and MVP defeated the Demand of Ricochet, Toy Leona, and Bishop Khan in a six-man tag street fight. In their first match together in, I'd say, about 2 or 3 years, Jack Perry and Luchasaurus teaming up as the Jurassic Express, former AEW World Tag Team Champions, defeated KM and Orion in a tag team match in about 2 minutes 44 seconds. Kyle Fletcher, with Lance Archer in his corner, successfully defended the AEW TNT title against Paragon's Kyle O'Reilly. Mercedes Moné successfully defended the TBS title against Lacey Lane in a double Jeopardy eliminator match, which I'm guessing meant that the loser would be eliminated in further contention, and the winner would gain a shot at the other title between the AEW World Tag Team Champions Brodito of Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito and Brody King, and Don Callis family members, the AEW Unified Champion Kazuchika Okada, and current G1 Climax winner Konosuke Takeshita, as Okada and Takeshita defeated Brodito, earning a shot at the AEW World Tag Team Champions some point down the line. And Orange Cassidy, in his first singles match since his return, defeated Pac in a one-on-one match in a basically a rematch of two former rivals for the former AEW International title. So there we go with that. Now, with that being said, of course, now we're going to move on to this day in each history. I know I'm kind of running things a little fast tonight, but hey there, Fitchozo. Thanks for dropping in. Even though I did get everything prepped this morning and all that, I just, as I told you guys, I'm in jury duty this week, so at least I had everything prepped and ready to go. So, anyways, thanks for popping in there, Fitchozo. So with that being said, why don't we, today is Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. So let's take a look back at this day in each history. So 2005. Let's add another 2005 here. And 10. Okay, and then this one's from 2014, right? All right. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at this day in each history. So, first off, 20 years ago today, on this date 20 years ago today, Brock Lesnar would defeat Kazuyuki Fujita to win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Lesnar was later stripped of the championship in 2006 due to visa problems, but Lesnar refused to relinquish the belt. Tony Inoki would later award Lesnar the IWGP Third Belt Championship, which became the primary title of the Inoki Genome Federation, or IGF. That was, of course, another promotion that Tony Inoki started, and was listed on record as still being Lesnar's reign as IWGP champion. but the reign is not recognized as a world title reign by New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, again, on this date, 20 years ago today, Brock Lesnar defeated Kazuyuki Fujita to become the new IWGP / IGF heavyweight champion. All right, and 2005 is just so nice that we're gonna hit it twice. And also on this date in the year 2005, as soon as I pull that up, of course. Also on this date in 2005, Production IG's Blood Plus would premiere over in Japan on Japanese television on this date back in 2005, so 20 years ago today. Let's see. Production IG's Blood Plus would premiere on IWGV, or I'm sorry, on Japanese television on this date back in 2005. So Blood Plus is a Japanese anime television series produced by Production IG and Aniplex and directed and written by Junichi Fujisaku. The series was broadcast on MBS and TBS from October 2005 to September 2006. Blood Plus is licensed for international distribution in several regions through Sony Pictures International arm Sony Pictures Television International. Blood Plus was inspired by the 2000 anime film Blood the Last Vampire. However, there are only a few allusions and basic elements from the film. Fujisaku has been involved with both works, including acting and directing, writer for Blood Plus, and writing novelization for Blood the Last Vampire. And I also believe that Blood the Last Vampire, there was also an anime series itself that was also developed from it as well, not just Blood Plus here. So, but anyways, so 20 years ago today as well, Blood Plus from Blood Plus from Production IG premiered on IWGP or on Japanese television. Sorry. Oh boy. Anyways. All right. So next up, we're gonna move ahead to the year 2010 here. On this date in the year 2010. On this date in the year 2010, Discovery Kids would discontinue their preschool block Ready, Set, Learn. So on this date, 15 years ago today, Discovery Kids would discontinue their preschool block Ready, Set, Learn. Now, why that is, I don't know if it had anything to do with viewership or anything like that, but that's all I can tell you. And now we move ahead to the year 2014, which happened to be 11 years ago today. On this date, 11 years ago today, so I grab that. 2014. The day in the year 2014. 11 years ago today. The 35th issue of Green Lantern Corps from DC Comics went on sale on this date back in 2014. So 11 years ago today, it sold for $2.99. Story was Reckoning, I guess from the Godhead storyline, and written by Van Jensen with art by Bernard Chang. David Sharp did the lettering, and Marcelo Maiolo did the coloring. All right, so with that being said, I thank everybody for being here tonight Hope everybody enjoyed the show. Of course, I will try to be back here tomorrow night, depending on how things work out. Jury duty and all that. So, more than likely, if, you know, the show will probably start at around 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern instead of the normal 5, 8, and we'll go like that during the week till my jury duty is completed. The Sunday shows, of course, will still be on at 5 p.m. until, as always. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.